Okay, how's it going, guys? I'm gonna make a quick tutorial on how to make collisions for track objects in MX Simulator. So basically, I have my object here. It's a podium. It's actually a podium I made for Byron, which he put on the Loretta Lynn's track from a while back. So pretty much the way I'm going to be doing this is I'm going to be using the shapefile generator, which places spheres at each vertice, and you write on those spheres. They are the collision. So basically, what you want is you want a surface for the collisions. So right here you have one surface, two surface, another one on the side. Obviously, it's a box. There's four surfaces. You only need the top surface. So what I went ahead and did is I duplicated the object and I deleted the extra surfaces. So I deleted the bottom and the sides. I also deleted these two poles. The reason I deleted the poles is because this handrail will have collisions and you can't go through the handrail to touch these poles, so the poles don't need collision. Same goes for the skirt down the bottom. You can't ride through this platform, so you're not going to be able to touch the skirt unless, of course, you somehow manage to slide your bike under there. But good luck. There's no way you're going to fit your bike under there, bud. So anyway, here it is. As you can see, everything's just a plane. There isn't used planes, like I said before. You only need one surface. So yeah, each sphere is placed at a vertex, and as you can see, there's not many vertexes. So if you place a sphere here, you'd be able to ride on this one vertex, but the rest of it you wouldn't have collisions for. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to subdivide the surface. So we're going to go edges, subdivide. The more you subdivide a surface, the smoother it's going to be to ride on. This is important for things you actually ride on, not so much important for, say, the back here, because you're not going to be riding on it. I'm going to subdivide this even more so that it is nice and smooth. Keep in mind, if you subdivide too many times and you have too many spheres, there's a very good chance your game will lag. So like I said, just keep that in mind. I'm gonna subdivide this handrail as well. Something some people like to do is to remove doubles, but as far as I'm concerned, if you do it properly the first time, you won't have doubles to remove. Well, you will, but it won't really be that necessary to remove them. What removing doubles does is, say I have this vertex here, or remove any vertices within a set area. I guess you could use that to an extent, but evidently it's going to affect the rideability of your surface. So I don't tend to remove doubles at all, or much for that matter. It's really up to you. Like, have a play with it, get a feel for everything. If you think you need to, then go ahead and remove some doubles here and there. Actually, no, that should be good enough. The next thing we're going to do is, as I was saying, you have a sphere on each vertex. If, say, for me, I'm going to be using a radius of 0.5 for my sphere. So if we were to place a sphere here with a radius of 0.5, it would extend 0.5 feet above the surface, which means when your bike rides across the surface, your bike will be 0.5 feet above the surface itself. So it's going to make it look like your bike's floating. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to grab both these and we're going to move them down by 0.5. If you're using, say, a radius of 1, you'd move it down by 1 foot. But I'm using 0.5. Now you're going to go ahead, export it as a JM. We're going to call it podium. Don't call it the same as your model. Apparently that causes issues. The next thing, go away. The next thing we're going to do is open up our shapefile generator, which is this thing here. We're going to go browse, find our JM we just made, podium. One thing you're going to need to keep in mind is the shapefile generator uses a script, and the script is not fully functional. I'll show you that in just a second. My friction is going to be 2, spring is going to be 1000. You really need to figure out what these settings kind of do. So obviously your sphere radius is the radius of the sphere. So the bigger the sphere, the further away from the actual object the collision's kind of going to be. You shouldn't have really small sphere radiuses. In theory, it'll make the collisions a lot more nicer and realistic, but you do run the risk of having game issues, so try not to. Anyway, create the shapefile. Oh, look at that, my euros all fucked out. So here we go, podium.shape. We're going to need to go and edit it with Notepad++. This is the issue with the script I was talking about. UMX Simulator, whenever it opens a file, it reads through the lines. So you need to write at the very top how many lines it needs to read through. So if we scroll to the bottom, you'll find a number 855. Scroll to the top. We need to put 855 in. If you don't put a number here, the game's going to try and read an infinite number of lines, and it's going to lag out and crash. So you need to tell it how many lines it needs to read. If I was to say put 20 in here, it would only read to line 20 or 19, not including the first line. So it would read to line 19, meaning that anything underneath that would not actually count into the game. But anyway, so we're going to save that. And now we are going to, I'm going to pop this in game to show you, I'm just going to show what it looks like, I guess. As you remember, I put it down, I moved the collisions down by half a foot to compensate for the radius of my sphere. In game I'll show exactly what I mean. Hopefully the bike isn't floating. I'm pretty confident it won't be. So go ahead, open up our game. Boom. Close this. Give me a second. So we're going to load it up in game. This is my shitty track I've been working on. I have my terrain shaders and detail and everything turned down, so it looks pretty horrible. It's nothing fancy, it's just my first track. I use it a lot for testing out objects, just because it's, you know, I don't know, it's just a track I use to test objects. Oh great. It's wonderful. Just fucking lovely. Try that again. Try that again. Okay, so we're away. These are my doors. I was trying to make the doors so they would automatically open and close using LODs. Didn't work out the way I planned. I couldn't actually get LODs to work. Anyway, so in theory this now has collisions, this podium. So when I ride on it, I should go up. Very nice. As you could kind of hear, it's a little bit bumpy, which means I could have subdivided it a smidgen more, or possibly used a bigger sphere radius. Yeah, so actually I'm going to go back into demo mode. I'm going to show you that the bike sits on the surface nicely. This is a stadium I'm working on for Tony Rubio X Games. Bit of a spoiler. Anyway, so as you can see, the tyre sits nicely on the top of the podium because I moved the surface down 0.5 feet to, compensate for the radius of my collisions. Yeah, so that's pretty much all you need to know for making collisions for Remix Simulator. It's pretty easy, nothing too difficult about it. If you have any questions, just ask. I'll put the stuff you need. I'll put the shape file generator link in the description for the video. I'll probably put it in the post for this tutorial as well. Yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys learned something. See ya.